dramatic music is over. Pierre, where'd you go? What are you doing?
What? I'm testing in production.
And now the joke is done. Morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? This isn't a normal Patch and Switch Friday. It's a Pierre and Jared Friday.
Yeah, I know. Funny how this thing goes, eh?
It does. It does. Hey, how was the show this morning with the AZ updates?
It went well. It went well, except for Anthony at Wireless Life. Had the wrong name for our show, had the wrong time for the show, and had the wrong description for the show. So, all in all, like
a big miss, huh?
Yeah, I'm being told my mic is low.
Yeah, you were a little light. There we go.
This is how I can put it on my end. So.
Yep, I've just added to it. Oh, thank you, Kowski. The better looking to is what Kowski just said. Thank you. Totally appreciate that.
I don't have as good a hair as well, I got as much hair as Rick does.
Rick does, yeah. I guess I've got the hair. So am I the stand-in for Joey?
I don't know how Joey would take that.
I wouldn't take it well if I were him. Good morning, everybody. It's a glorious Friday here in the Seattle area. The sun is actually out. There's this big Pierre. There's big bright ball in the sky. I'm scared. I don't know what the heck it is.
Is it like kind of like a yellowish orange?
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that one a couple days ago. I was wondering what it was, and then it started snowing again.
They say it must have been the snow creator. You know, like a hold. Yep. We need to create snow. Hold. Okay, snow created, and then it starts.
Considering we're testing in production,
yes.
Why am I
small and in the corner
properly?
That's a great question. I was just looking at that going, here we go again. You keep changing your output all the time on me, so that's part of the problem. And I'm looking here, and like I'm looking at the video. Oh wait, that's the video frame. Let me get.
My output is always going at 1080p.
Okay, so I got you back in the corner. Yep. There we go.
Oh, I'm gonna switch it up again.
Yep, you're back. You should be back in by popular demand and full sized.
Oh, Inception.
You know, now we broke it. We broke production again. Nope. Yeah. Johnny Chips, I am definitely not Joey's younger brother. I think I'm older than Joey. But we got to, you know, one of the things that for those of you who don't know, Pierre and I were talking about doing something, and then as we did helped out with the live streams for Ignite, we were like, God, we really have to do something together, because this is something. I have to admit, we were trying to come up with names like the producers and a couple other things like that. It hit me the other day, of course, where every great idea hits you. You know, see, you just did it again. Now, you changed the size on me again.
I am not even touching anything. It's
Yep, you're right. There's no audio in that scene because I didn't plan for that scene to be in audio. Yeah. So, let me switch back to this mode, and I will add audio input for that scene, and let's actually go back to it, because one of the problems that I keep having, yeah, way too close. Isn't that true? Did you have too close for me too? One of the problems that we get, especially with Teams and NDI, is Teams has, as was brought up earlier, thanks to, let me find, Who said it? Somebody said it. I love it.
That was
Johnny Chips with a Z.
Johnny Chips Z.
Yep, the team's adaptive codec. It keeps changing sizes on me.
Yep.
So
And
what should someone do when that happens?
Well, when you're using OBS, and when you're using OBS, and I'm sharing my screen here.
Yep, and guess what? You just resized on me.
Which is funny because I have not changed my output.
I understand that. But that's part of this is part of the issue that we run into.
Yeah. So what you do is, can you see my screen?
Yes. Well, I can see your screen, but they can't. For some reason.
They can't.
Yeah.
So if you change it back to my screen or show my desktop, can you show my desktop?
No, because that's
yeah.
All
right. Well, let me put it this way, and forgive the
inception.
The inception.
And see, it automatically jumped back to the correct size.
Yeah, so it'll go back and forth because it's trying to, based on its bit rate, based on the stream quality coming in, because right now I'm coming into you over the internet, so my quality can go down even though I'm broadcasting at 1080p. It may change. So in the properties, and that's, let me turn off the preview.
Yep.
Where is my preview? If I double click this. Disable preview. Thank you. If I go into the properties, it basically shows you that, and there's nothing you can do there, but what you can do is under transform, edit your transform, and in your transform, you lock the position and you lock the size to what you want inside the box that you have.
Yep.
So it does take a little bit of trial and error, but once you've actually locked the position and locked the size in your, because right now for me I can't change it because this is my settings are actually locked, so I don't change them by accident.
Right.
Now when your OBS starts getting a lower resolution or a lower bit rate that it's expecting, and it starts, or Teams starts to adjust within the scenes, it's always going to stretch out or compress to fit it within the box that you've defined.
Yep.
And these are things that unless you've done hours of researching on YouTube and online to figure out why, the first time you turn on Teams and you say, hey, enable NDI, and great, now I've got my stuff, and you plant it in your scenes and you spend $30 and you get a glitch overlay package from, I'm not going to say the name because we're not sponsored yet.
Not yet. We're working on sponsorship.
Hashtag not sponsored. And then you start changing scenes and everything goes to shit.
Yep.
Are am I allowed to say that during this broadcast? I'll try to be good.
Well, you could say it goes to.
Yes, it goes to.
Exactly.
And and that's just one of the items that you can go wrong. So if you're at home and you're thinking about starting to stream, and you may not have as much, you may not have as many gear as we do. So I'm going to a side view here.
Actually, let me jump to the show and tell view.
Oh, okay.
And turn on Pierre's view. Go for it.
Let me
focus. Hit focus.
Focus. Cameras. Manual.
Stay on target. Stay on target.
We've spent the money, and I think you have the exact same one as this. So
Yes.
we've got the XLR, which is XLR preamp for a dynamic or a condenser microphone. It's got a sound board here and some effects. But I try not to do that too much on alt because it's kind of annoying when you do it over and over again. I annoy you when we stream games because that's fun. but not
You don't
necessarily.
annoy me. We annoy you, and I annoy everybody else. Come on.
True. And then you got the little soundboard, but not everybody's going to have this amount of gear to start.
No.
If you want to control multiple sound input, so right now I've got my Edge, Chrome, VLC, Discord, my Spotify, all of them assigned to different faders on a MIDI controller. So that was only about $40, but it gives me the opportunity when I'm streaming or when I'm recording to not have to go to the window that's in the background and find the right faders and change it. That way I can just change it on the screen.
Yep.
This is not, you don't need this when you start. All you need, you could go with a Logitech 920 or 925. People, I hear a lot of complaining that, oh, well, it's not 4K. Nobody broadcasts on 4K because very few people can actually have the bandwidth to stream 4K.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that people sometimes don't understand when it comes to how they're getting their rigs set up, if you will.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I learned early on was, and this is from listening to a lot of podcasts and watching a lot of online tutorials and such, audio is the biggest space to actually spend your time and money up front. Is get your audio good, then add in the video. So start with a cheap 1080p webcam or even a 720p webcam.
Yeah, and if you've got, you have old gear at home, like you can easily take this is a GoPro Hero 4 that you can use if you've got like a Cam Link, or there's even some on eBay and Amazon for like those HDMI input for like $25.
Yeah,
they're not great. They'll do 1080p at 30 frames. They're not going to do 60 frames, so you can't stream gaming over like you can't plug your Xbox One or Xbox X Series X on it and expect the same resolution. But they're great for a little GoPro like that. You can use your phone with an NDI, or there's tons of free stuff that you can have, such as you can have OBS.Ninja. So OBS.Ninja is one that's free. It's a little bit more of a kind of a problem with it. Am I sharing my screen?
No, but I was going to share mine. I actually have my iPhone here plugged in. I'm actually sharing now via OBS.Ninja, and I actually was able to drop it straight in as it's a browser, if you will. Yeah, and so I can show off, here's my Go XLR, my Doghouse Systems machine here. And then I have my camera right between both of my monitors.
Yep.
So, but that's something that that is interesting that you can do with just a little, your cell phone. And how many of us honestly have a spare cell phone sitting around? I mean, I'm going to ask our audience this. I have at least like 3 cell phones that are all working currently. Does everybody else have at least 1, 2, 3? At least 2 or 3? We'll wait for the chat room to catch up here, but yeah, see, it's amazing.
While you're changing, like you showed where your camera is. My camera is right there. Above, but I've got the little monitor directly under the lens. So when I'm actually looking at you. Because when I talk to somebody, I want to look at their facial expression. I want to see if they're reacting, whether or not you can tell when you're saying something to someone, explaining something, mansplaining in some cases. Yes, I know. I'm sorry. And the other person is just not getting it. You can see the look on their face, kind of like,
yep.
What?
Oh yeah.
But you can't see that if you're just strictly looking at the lens.
Mm-hmm.
So by me having this lens in front of me, right now I'm looking at you. I'm not looking at the lens, but as far as the audience knows, there's a bit of a slight tweak if I look up at the lens and if I'm looking at you, but not enough to make it look like, because I hate when I'm recording with other folks, not Anthony or Sarah or Thomas or anyone like that. Actually, Rick and Joey are really good at that. But you get a lot of yes.
Yeah.
And I'm so the whole half hour you're recording with somebody, an interview of some kind. This is the look. This is the look you get.
Yep. Exactly.
This is not engaging.
No, it isn't.
It's kind of annoying.
And what we try and do is try and bring people to get their setups better. This is something I'm actually trying to set up as I'm lucky as a part of my organization at Microsoft. We have one day a month that we have called Day of Learning, and people set up concession. I'm actually going to set up a session on how to do virtual meetings better, and talk about my rig, my setup. Yes, mine is more for podcasting and doing EBCs, what we call executive briefing center briefings.
Yeah.
And I have really tried to trick my system out, and on top of it is a desire to do more streaming, and so I'm planning to do a lot more streaming. In fact, this week, if you guys here, small plug, twitch.tv/jshock. Artemis and I did a Diablo 3 run with the help of Joey Snow on Tuesday night, and we're going to do another one tonight. So we're trying to level up characters before the new season. Joey's been giving us some great feedback, and we were jumping in and doing stuff. Other nights, myself, Mr. Wired Connect here. Sometimes we get wireless
Wireless Life,
CDN.
Richard.
Yep,
Rick
and Rickster.
Claus,
Play a little Call of Duty. Call of Duty.
Vacation in Verdansk.
Sometimes, actually, we had enough people. The last time we played, we had 6 folks, and we were able to play a full multiplayer together. It was a blast.
Yeah. Actually, I just wanted to Johnny Chips with a Z says a very good point that says it's important important quirk you need to be aware is when you're arranging your content or your feed or your scenes to not always be the same resolution. For like your audience might be watching it on a phone, might be watching it so try to find the lowest common denominator. 1080p is getting there. Most phones will support 1080p now.
Yes.
It's a little squished, and sometimes it's a little small. So if you're sharing a screen, they won't be able to read what you're showing.
Right.
Not everybody's got the 46-inch 46-inch monitor at their desks.
Exactly.
So you have to be aware of what your audience is at.
Yeah. Well, let's actually, since we're on this view, Pierre, let's actually jump to the show and tell and show off some more of your configuration there. Well,
this does not cost me a lot of money. The monitor did, but the rest of it wasn't too bad. They're just a couple of poles on both ends, and when we talk about broadcasting, lighting is very important.
Of course.
If I go back to this scene and turn off my lights,
this
is how dark I get.
You look like a ghoul.
I look like that normally, but the lights kind of make me look better a little bit. So those lights that I have, I could have gone with the $350 Elgato key lights. Or I went the other way, which those are Home Depot shop lights, the ones with the little squeeze clip in the back, aluminum. I put some Wiz smart bulbs in them, so I've got one over here. I've got another one on the other side, and I control them through my Stream Deck, but the light bulbs are like $8 a piece, and the 2 lights were $10 each. And for a diffuser on top, because you can see that this light is diffused, I use parchment paper for baking.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
even if you've got regular bulbs in it, because it's meant to go in the oven to 500 degrees, it's not going to catch in flames when you put a regular incandescent bulb in your light. So this can be enough to light you up properly. And there's gazillion videos online on how you have your key light, which gives you on one side, and then you have a fill light that kind of softens the shade, the shadows
Yeah.
on your face, but still give you a bit of dimension. I have a panel light behind me, which right now is not turned on because it's bright enough in here, but sometimes when I'm doing it at night, where the room is much darker,
Yes.
I'll turn it on so it lights up the background, so it doesn't look like in a dark cave.
Yeah.
And of course, got the blue LEDs in the back. That was like the clearance table at Home Depot.
You can find so many good things at Home Depot for what you're doing.
It literally was like a ripped open box that was held together with tape and tie wraps. We got a new follower.
Yeah.
And together with the tape and tie wraps, and it was like $12 for a length of LED kind of rope in a rubber membrane.
Okay.
And then I took a Wiz smart plug. So right now it's plugged into the Wiz smart plug, so I can turn it on and turn it off as I need to have my background lit up.
Yeah. Fuel Snobble just said streaming seems too hard. It depends on what you're trying to stream. I would say to get started, you just need a cell phone and a
webcam
or webcam. Yeah.
Everybody on this, everybody in the chat right now is probably got enough because we're all geeks, so we have
Yeah.
cables and gear laying at home. An old iPhone 6, an old GoPro.
Yep.
A webcam. We all have microphones, and you can you can get little lapel microphones. This is like $7 on Amazon.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need the big one to start with. Yes, and I went overboard on that, and I bought the 400 and Aston Stealth, but it is a phenomenal microphone for the money.
And I got the same mic based on your feedback. But Johnny Chips is right. He says it's not too hard. It's good fun, but once you get the gear bug, that's the problem. And we've both gotten that gear bug.
Well, I used to have a T-shirt, and I don't know. I think my wife threw it out because I took it as a challenge, not necessarily as a statement.
Yes.
It was Dilbert on it, and it said, "He who dies with the most toys wins."
Yeah, that can be true right there.
So I'm trying to collect as many toys as I can. Like, there's no reason for most people to have a Sony A6000 as a side view camera, and then another Sony A6000 with a 30mm lens at the f1.4 as their main lens.
Yeah. Well, you've shown off a bit of your configuration. I'm going to go ahead and we'll jump back to the show and tell. And I know some people are asking about my configuration, so I'll go ahead, get my iPhone back up here. I do have the twin Samsung monitors here, and they're mounted on a... I used to have this mounted to the wall in my old condo, but I have now a hutch on my desk. So there's the monitor arm, and then I use just a simple motorcycle mount. That's how I attach my Panasonic Lumix G100, and it's settled right between my screens. I typically set up my what I'm watching or what I want to react to, like if it's a Teams meeting, I'll put it right next to the monitor so my eyes don't have to drift far. I do want to do what you did, where you have the monitor underneath.
Yeah. Well,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you too. No, I'm pasting in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
And again, hashtag not sponsored.
Yep.
But WallyElectric.com, which is a U.S. company, they sell on Amazon and in the U.S. they also have their own store.
Mm-hmm.
I think on Shopify, has very, very good mounts, like monitor mounts,
Oh,
arms,
yeah. Yep.
and the price is, for the quality you get, is
Yep.
so all my mounts, all of my poles on my desks are all from Wally Electric, and
Nice.
they're great.
Yep. So that's my monitor mount. That's where I have my camera. And normally this is my key light, but today I decided to open up the windows a little bit on.
Natural
So
light.
actual natural light. So you notice my key light is from the right, and that one's a fill. But normally my fill light is right on top there, and I use a slightly different shade. And then my third light is my background. It's on the floor here, just on a little Gorilla Pod mount to give some color in the back. So, if we take a look here, I do have a third monitor. And when I'm doing patch and switch, I keep the Twitch feed up here. And every once in a while, if everyone's talking like, oh, we got an echo or something's wrong with audio, that's when I can unmute it, figure out what's going on, and then I can go back to mute on it again. But this is also my Xbox One X here up top. And then I actually have the Xbox One X can go through my Elgato HD 60S Plus for when I want to stream Xbox games online.
Yeah, I do. You have a great setup, but I'm thinking you need to put some time in cable management.
I understand that and a lot of people say, well, why do you have all this stuff? Well, if you notice, there's another little machine back here in the background.
That your saw?
No, that's not my saw. I don't want to talk about my saw.
Okay. That's right.
So, I need a bottle of scotch before I can talk about my saw. For those of you, that's a secure access workstation. I had a problem with mine this week. Now, this is actually my work desktop that I work on from home, and it's a little Intel Nook. I got to tell you, it's one of the best little machines I've ever gotten. So,
well, certainly one of the smallest.
It is, and I have actually 1.5 terabytes of storage in it, and 32 gigs of RAM with an Intel 10th gen processor. So we'll go ahead and jump off that and go back to the two-shot.
And there's a question from Johnny Chips with a Z.
Yep.
He's like, what do we do for acoustic treatment? In my room, you can see behind me that I've got drapes.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing for acoustic is flat walls.
Yep.
With nothing on them. So if you've got just walls on each side and you don't have any furniture or anything soft, a carpet works. I used to have a carpet, but it got really mangled with the wheels of my chair.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have it's a roll of 3/4-inch rubber it's like just something you're supposed to put in a garage or in a gym under your weights.
Yeah.
Now I have that, but because it's rubber and it's kind of soft, it absorbs sounds. The drapes behind me absorb the sound.
Yeah. So kind of like this.
Yeah.
It's a standing mat for me. I have a tough situation because I am in a rented apartment. I can't do any major changes other than hang stuff on the walls. I can't do major work. When I move into a house, my office there, yes, I will do a lot of sound deadening in the office.
Yeah, and that's something I have thought about to put on the wall that I'm facing is those foam. But I was watching Harris Heller. If you guys who don't know, Harris Heller is a streamer. He calls himself the Stream Doctor. And he's actually really good at explaining and analyzing the difference in a $2,000 camera versus a $50 camera, and the benefits of a $50 mic versus a $400 mic. So he's actually got a lot of content, and he's even got a line of DCMA free, so you can't get dinged for copyright playlists that are on Spotify, on Apple Music. You can download them directly, and you can play them all other kinds of different genre, rock to hip hop and different kinds. Some of it has got lyrics. Most of it is just instrumental, so you can actually play it in the background. It's great. Anyway, so check him out.
Yep. Johnny Chips had a question. Do you use any audio processing like NVIDIA broadcast, Pierre?
No, all I have is the audio processing that's built into my Go XLR. So let me bring that up here.
Yep.
I can. Are you showing my screen, or?
I can switch to the show and tell, and let's see here, Pierre. Yeah. There you go. Now we see it.
So, in my mic, when I set up my mic, you can. Oh, it's. Let me. Oh. Where'd it go? Oh, it moved to the other screen.
Yeah. Everyone, we're still testing in production. Remember.
Testing in production. We're testing in production. So the Go XLR has sound processing built in, so I can have my noise gate. I have an equalizer that I've gone through, the compressor, and my de-esser. So it's all built into the Go XLR. The Go XLR Mini has some of those, but not all of it. Like the de-esser is not included in the Go XLR Mini.
Right.
But you do get the faders that are not motorized on the Mini, but that's fine. And I don't really care about motorized faders, but
yeah. Joey has the Go XLR Mini now, and you can see that when we do patch and switch next week. I mean, he's already got a buttery smooth voice, and the Go XLR just makes it that much better.
Yeah, he like I look at Joey, and then I equal him to like what's his name, McConaughey.
Oh, Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey voice, you know, it's like Joey or Matthew. I'm not quite sure. All right. Yeah, so I this is what my microphone in terms of processing, and then of course we have the mixer and we have effects, so we can change a little bit what our voice sounds like.
Yeah.
But other than that, no extra processing. The microphone that we're using. And I don't know if you can see on the stream, there's a very slight purple glow around the back of mine.
Right.
Which means that it's actually getting phantom power. Mm-hmm. It's a dynamic mic, so it doesn't need phantom power. But it's built into this particular mic is a cloud key.
Yep.
So it boosts the power from the dynamic mic before it gets to the preamp, the amp in the Go XLR. So I don't have to boost the gain really, really high. Actually, if I look at my gain setup, it's actually at 20 dB.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear that, or was I cut off when I looked? No,
I could hear it.
Okay.
So you're at 20 dB.
So my gain is only at 20 dB, which is on the scale fairly low.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons I picked that microphone over like an SMB7, for example, which was more expensive, and you still have to spend the money for the cloud key anyway.
Yeah.
Not cloud key, the cloud lifter. Sorry, not cloud key, cloud lifter.
Got it. Cool. See what else? One of the things, obviously, I've been playing a bit with transitions and overlays. I went and bought this one. I bought one for my own streaming that I'm going to be using here this weekend. Start using. Pierre,
yeah, I think we're going to have like a whole episode on scenes and overlays and alerts. I'm not big on alerts. I find I'm typically, and if you've ever seen AZ Update or even all the videos on IT Ops Talk, I'm pretty minimalist in stuff like that, where
Yeah.
maybe there's a frame around the box that changes color a little bit. But I try to have the content up front as opposed to the effects up front.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of streamers where even tech streamers where they're explaining coding, they're doing live coding,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a little game playing where like people are dropping with parachutes and stuff like that, and they're trying to hit a moving target at the bottom,
Yeah.
which is like an overlay. It takes away from the content, from what I'm concerned. I don't know about
for sure. Yeah.
folks in this chat room. And Johnny, the model of the mic you're asking is the Haston Stealth.
Yeah, I have the same one, the Aston Stealth. TRP8472, why aren't you at your post? But he's asking us, why are you setting this up, stream setup? Actually, no, Pierre and I wanted to have kind of our own chit chat. We produce he produces for Anthony and Sarah and other guests on the AZ update. Obviously, I help produce the patch and switch, and the we wanted to, like I said, we were helping out with the Ignite last week. You kind of missed the front part of the show. We just wanted to set up our own kind of stream, and this is one of the things we want to talk about is how we set up for these streams. What we're going to actually do is, so this week I'm producing. In 2 weeks, Pierre's going to produce.
And when you're thinking about producing a show for other people, like I do AZ Update, and I've done a lot for Ignite, some of the sessions that were there. We've done a lot of recording for the IT Ops Talk, all things hybrid, and we're continuing to record all the time.
Yeah.
We've noticed that I became the bottleneck for AZ Update. And I also, at one point, my wife says, okay, well, let's take the weekend off because we're going somewhere. Well, not in the last little while, but my daughter had to move back home, so we had to go and get her, load the truck and come back. And she says, okay, well, we're going to go on Friday morning. And I'm thinking, ooh, AZ Update. And at the time, we were still using OBS, so I got all the scenes and everything set up. Anthony, or Wireless Life, was running, and at the time, I have to admit, he was having some difficulty because he had a faulty Surface Book. No, Anthony, I wasn't trying to say that you were bullshitting, but he actually did have a machine that was failing a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was really hard for me to not be there because I was the bottleneck, because I was the one with the gear and the scenes. That even though you can transfer the scenes, you can export them and give them to somebody else. Wireless Life. Wow.
I know, you just got thrown under a bus, buddy.
No, I was backing him up that his machine was.
He had so many problems with that machine, and I know we were constantly giving him grief, but he had a lot of times where he literally had to put the machine on top of a pan of ice to keep it cool
during gaming. That's right.
Yeah.
So I became the single point of failure as TRP 8472. Why aren't you not at your post?
Yes.
Anyway, and so we've switched. We're now doing AZ Update on StreamYard.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got all the scenes set up and everything. However, because it's web-based, if I decide to take a Friday off, well, Anthony can drive it.
Yeah.
I had surgery not too long ago, and I couldn't be there. So Sarah drove the show. So, of course, it's harder when you're actually participating in the show to keep an eye on the chats, to keep an eye, especially for AZ Update, because we're streaming across multiple platforms.
Right.
So yeah, I got to keep track of the chats on Twitch, on YouTube, on all kinds of what's the other one? Facebook. Actually, we don't get a lot of viewers on Facebook, but there's some that the crew is there and everything. So just in case. So you're trying to do that to monitor the sound, monitor making sure that the stream actually has sound, because at the beginning when we were just starting this, and Wireless Life will attest to that. I screwed up a bunch of times where you're setting up a scene last minute because, oh, we're going to get a guest person. And then the sound that gets added to that scene is different than the sound that's in the other scenes, or it's set lower. So when you switch to that scene, there's no sound. When you switch back, the sound is back. Or if you're trying to talk as a producer into the ear of the people that you're producing, you mute yourself from the stream. But then if you're bringing on screen, then you have to go to these other screen or applications on your machine to unmute yourself. Actually, the Go XLR has fixed a lot of those problems.
You're lagging again.
Am I lagging again?
You're lagging again.
By going to StreamYard, and there's a plethora. Anthony will like that name.
Yep.
There's a plethora of offers there that you can do streaming with next to no money, because there's a lot of them that have free plans without setting anything. Oh, I've just gone by.
No, that was me. I was trying to see if resetting the virtual camera would reset your lip sync.
Oh, and that's another thing. If you're doing NDI, there are some significant changes in your when you're setting up your source.
Yep.
You have to make sure that your sync is source timing and not network.
Right.
You have to make sure that you allow hardware acceleration if you've got a card that will support it. And if you can find one these days in a retailer, let me know, because I'm looking for one.
Yeah. TRP8472 asks NDI. It is a protocol brought out by the TriCaster folks that allows for video over network.
Yeah, it's NewTek is the name of the company, and NewTek, NDI is network device interface.
Yep. And it can be super
helpful. All the cameras send back to the main over Ethernet.
Yep. It allows you to do video over Ethernet instead of having to have like HDMI cables everywhere or some sort of video cables from your switching equipment to the cameras. For example, in my configuration here, I'm using a Camlink 4K for the Panasonic Lumix G100, but Pierre is coming in on NDI from Teams. Now, in the future, we're going to try some things like OBS.Ninja as the video source for each other. One of the things we're also going to try is using Discord. Part of this is he and I are trying to figure out how we do. Did I lose him?
No, I was just resetting my camera just to see if it fix the lag.
Yep. And so we're going to try things like Discord video. Part of testing in production for Pierre and I, we want to try things so that when it's AZ update or patch and switch, we got it covered.
But the thing is, we try things and we fail a lot. Like I completely butchered my installation last night trying to do something different. And I had to remove OBS, I had to remove NDI, I had to remove my Stream Deck software. Basically anything that has anything to do with streaming had to be removed from my machine, repatched. So every morning I have a PowerShell script that runs that creates a recovery point.
Yeah.
So I recovered to yesterday morning, and then removed everything, reinstalled everything, reconfigured everything.
Yep.
But now I know what I did wrong, or why I did that, because I was maybe like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning by the time I figured it out.
Yeah.
But if we are testing in production, and if anybody who is interested in streaming want to like take that road with us, you're going to get the benefit of us screwing up.
For sure. I mean, we've done it plenty of times. How many times has the audio been bad on patch and switch? That's one of the biggest things. I'm always key on trying to make sure the audio is the best possible quality. And we got a lot of folks. Scott Menzel brought up. So you guys are dialed into a Teams call in the background? Yes. Yeah. Right now, Pierre is on a Teams call.
We're actually in 2 Teams calls. because and somebody mentioned that in the chats that NDI on Teams is enabled by a tenant by tenant basis.
Yes.
And our tenant, the Microsoft.com internal tenant, NDI is a multicast protocol.
Yes.
Which is not allowed by our security folks unless you have business need for it. So they've turned it off by policy for us, and they're turning it on if you have a business case to use it.
Right.
And I guess in your role, you don't have a business case to use it.
No, I don't.
So you've created your own tenant.
I've had my own tenant because I've been
your own tenant.
Yeah, because I'm normally a presenter in SharePoint and Office 365. So having my own tenant was a positive thing, if you will.
So explain how you've set it up with two different tenants.
So what I've actually done is I have I have my own tenant for my own domain, and I invite that tenant, that user, into the call. And the thing I have to do is I have to enable the NDI before I come into the Teams call, because once I get connected to Pierre and myself, Microsoft will block me enabling it. So I have to get it enabled before I call into the call. But once I get it enabled, now I can do that right now. So,
but yeah, you have to admit that every time you do this with NDI, a Teams call within the Teams call, you're adding delays.
Exactly.
And you have to be, if you're broadcasting, you have to be very aware of that. Like, for example, when we do on Learn TV, because it's an automated switching from some recorded content to live content based on the schedule. Like for us, it's 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Right.
We can connect up to 15 minutes before, but we don't actually go live until 10 a.m. And at 10:30, whether or not you're finished, like if the band hasn't come out yet, they don't care. You're going to get cut off.
Right. Right.
But because it's automated, there's almost like a 30-second delay in us broadcasting and it actually being up in the Learn TV client. So we have to make sure that we stop not at 10:30, but more like at 10:29, to make sure that we have time to have the video, the rollout, or the band finish playing, and at the end maybe give back like 10 to 20 seconds. But that way we don't have to worry about getting cut off in mid-sentence.
Right, exactly. And like the advantage we have right now, like we're on Twitch, we don't have a cutoff time. We can keep going as long as we want. I mean, cutoff time is what people are willing to sit through. And yes, I caught it up again, Rick. You know, you produce things for folks and they jump in and, you know, they think they're funny. No, I really think it looks like Rick and Joey both stopped by to find willing to sit through.
Is Joey on?
Yeah, Joey is patch and switch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Find willing to sit through.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, maybe one of these days you just let them produce the whole thing.
Exactly. No, it's
actually,
and it's something. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying Joey's done a good job at doing we've done watch parties during Ignite, because you have a day job, and so it's pretty good.
Yep.
But
no, that's true.
The simpler you keep it, the easier it gets.
Right. And that's one of the things I've been working on is how do I simplify? I've now gotten down. I'm going to be able to. One thing I plan to do is copy. I have a whole Stream Deck configuration and an OBS configuration. I'm hoping to be able to post both, so that if Joey or Rick needs to run the show without me, you know, just like you were like, oh, you know, you went to the cloud. Well, we actually are doing some things so that, you know, I don't know if that'll work for us, but I have the OBS configurations and the Stream Deck configurations. They could just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're done.
Yeah.
So.
But it's not just the configuration, moving the configuration around in terms of simplification, is Like in your case, we don't have you don't have a choice. You have to have two tenants, so it's a team meeting within a team meeting.
Yeah.
Over NDI. So there are going to be some delays here and there, and some days you get your voice is off by a fraction of a second, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Nope. You're right. You're right. One of the great things though is as we're trying, and that's what testing and production, that's what this podcast is going to be. We are going to try some things. I want to try Discord audio and video, see how that works for us. I'm interested because that's a great backup. I got to tell you, like I said, earlier this week, I played some Diablo and Joey was there helping Art and I out. And my goodness, the audio and video capabilities in Discord is absolutely amazing. I'm just shocked at the quality that it can do.
Yeah, the only thing I would wish, and I've talked to them and I've gone on their forums, is the ability to have the video sharing video, but also have the chat channel on the side, so you don't have to pop out to a different monitor. And apparently, it's a very, very, very requested feature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're not in any hurry to get that done.
Yep, exactly. And Scott just asked, so NDI is or leverages multicast. Where's the security aspect of it? That's the problem with NDI. It is
there's no
inherently
password,
insecure.
So there's no password. So as long as you're monitoring or tracking that port.
Or sniffing for that traffic.
Sniffing with that traffic, you will get it. So any device, but the broadcast, it broadcasts with the name of the device. So you, like right now in my virtual camera, I have all my desktops that are broadcasting, and I can pick one or the other or my cell phone.
Yeah.
And it broadcasts across the subnet.
Yep.
So it won't go across unless you got multicast forwarding enabled on your switches and routers. But right now it's just within a subnet, it broadcasts. So they're afraid that that's at the office, maybe executive meetings, somebody will hit the enable NDI by accident, and then anybody on the subnets, or basically anybody in the building or close, can actually sniff and view the and that's the security problem or concern.
So, and versus right now, my cell phone is not using NDI broadcast. I'm using OBS.Ninja. It is a specific web page, and then I add it as a browser source in the OBS. We'll talk more about that in future episodes, because I think using some alternative sources, we could talk through some of those things that Pierre and I are looking at.
Well, this is our first episode. This is kind of like we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants here.
That's normal for us. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we're testing into that. But tell us in the chat if there are specific subjects that you would want us to explore, like I don't know, scene creation, overlay, even if we want to do like green screening and what you want us to do with this. I've actually listened and I've bookmarked Scott Enselman's YouTube, because he's got a few videos on leveraging green screens that are just like really good and very simple and very easy to enable and to leverage.
Yep. By the way, I'm supposed to do this based on that green screen.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do some game streaming tips as well. I've been doing a lot of game streaming for now. I think we do have someone that has a question for us.
Ballsy. Stupid, but ballsy.
Wrong question.
All right, Twinkle Toes, what's your exit strategy?
So how are we getting out of this show today?
Well, we're getting out of the show today by thinking that's okay. Some of the items for our next shows are going to be OBS.Ninja or free tools to allow you to have remote cameras. That's going to be one.
Okay.
Stingers and transitions are going to be another.
For sure.
Game streaming tips are going to be another one. So far we've got at least like 3 or potentially 4 different topics that we can cover in the shows.
If you guys have any other topics you can't think or you think of outside of the show here, go ahead and tweet at us. I am at JShock on Twitter.
And I am at Wired Canuck everywhere.
Yes. We're hoping that this can be, right now we're definitely focusing on the streaming and our production aspects. Who knows in the future, we may be talking about other things. Always, though.
I want to start a conversation, too, about creating content, like what type of content people want. Yeah. And not only that, like if you look at Ignite and if you look at all of those virtual conferences, the deer in the headlight, I am presenting to a webcam, and this is the first slide, and I'm reading it, and this is the second. Like, are there tips that we can do? Are there techniques that you can use? Can you leverage your teammates to have more of a conversation-based presentation mode? Like, how do you, maybe that could be something that's interesting.
Yes. I think that's, yes. Scott is worried that you're not blinking. No, I think it's a great idea. I also think we can come up, we can even probably have a whole episode on Teams tips. We can even pull in some of our friends. I've got some friends who are presenters, as well as we know some podcasters and streamers. Pull them in, talk with them a lot. And
maybe the boys from Patch and Switch. I don't know.
Maybe the boys from Patch. I don't know. Those guys. I mean, really?
Are they gonna stoop to our level and gracious with their presence? I don't know.
Exactly. No,
it might be too much of divas.
One can never tell. And I think on that, yeah, they're dodgy folks. I think on that note, we should probably head out, let folks have a end to their weekend, or a start to their weekend, an end to their work week. Even though some of us, it's the beginning of the day here. Yes, I know you have yours.
Start my weekend. No.
Yep. But we thank everybody for joining us. We have let's go down through the folks who joined us today. We have obviously A10 Carbon 14 XYZ. I think that is a bot, but all right. Casino thanks, Commander Root, Computix, Exchange SME. Great to have you here. Hope you've had a I know it's been a busy couple of weeks probably for Exchange SME.
Exchange admins have not had it easy lately.
No way. I feel your pain. I hope all is well. Fuel Snobble, Johnny Chips with a Z, K McFerrin, Kowski, Misapplying. I like that name, Misapplying.
Yeah.
PowerShell Dev, Sam Goody, Shadiest of Pandas, Silly Gnome 225, Sismus, TRP 8472.
Why you're not at your post?
Yeah, you're here. Well, we should probably stop that joke at some point. Vizio MVP, Wireless Life CDN, and of course, thank you to Rick and Pats and Switch, aka Joey, for showing up and speaking about it
and allowing us to take over the channel.
Yes, thank you so much. We have a lot that we want to do. Definitely give us the feedback, folks, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks, because we have don't forget AZ updates every Friday 10 a.m. Eastern, correct?
That's correct.
And then Pass and Switch, when we're not doing testing and production, obviously 9 a.m. Pacific every other Friday. So cheers and have a great weekend.